Hey, crew. Welcome back to another episode of the Skippy Report. On this episode, it's another in the series of the Women of Telemark Skiing. In this episode, I sit down and talk with a good friend, Adele Wellman. We've been friends for more than a decade. We've met through telemark skiing. She is a really great skier, an avid skier, an avid outdoors person who just loves being outside, sharing her love for the great outdoors as an outdoor educator in Alleghany State Park. And in this episode, we sit down and talk to her about all of her endeavors of skiing and snowboarding and cycling and her adventures over the summer, where she's been before, and what she's getting into this coming ski season. So grab yourself a beverage, make yourself comfy, and enjoy this episode of the Women in Telemark Skiing.
Hey, Keith.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm
Well,
good.
welcome to the Skippy Report, and most importantly, welcome to the segment Women in Telemark Skiing.
Yay.
Yeah. So, did you get snow down in Salamanca, New York?
We did, yeah. Probably about 2 or 3 inches.
That's the same here.
Mm-hmm.
I catch you off guard, or are you prepared for it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to cut some plants down beforehand. Now they're just like drooping into my sidewalk. And it's like, well, it'll be warm again, like 45 this weekend. So like I'll just do it then. But yeah, Sunday it was raining, like I'm not doing it. No.
Right.
And so they're fine. It's just they just look unsightly. So other than that, I'm good. Yeah.
That's good. I know
What
I
about
was.
you?
Yeah, we got good snow, and there's still lots of leaves on trees, and there's lots of
Ooh.
leaves on top of the snow. So it has to melt, so I can collect those up and put them where I normally put them. So yeah. So, anyways, we're here on the Skippy Report, and for the listeners, I have Adele Wellman, and she is a really good telemark skier. She's an awesome telemark instructor with the PSIA in the U.S. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Adele. Like, who are you? What do you do? And we'll eventually get into how you got into telemark skiing.
So my name is Adele Wellman. I grew up in Western New York State near between I was between Batavia, so in Batavia, so between Rochester and Buffalo. And what I do now is I work as an environmental educator for Alleghany State Park, which is the largest state park, 65,000 acres. We border the Pennsylvania border. And what I do is my main focus is I try to connect people to the outdoors and to nature. So I'm in charge of programming. So I teach people about trees and insects, and then I have my supervisor, and then I have 7 other coworkers, and that's our main job, is to teach people about the history and the plants and flora and fauna and all the things you can do in a state park and or in the outdoors. So kind of give them little sparks to like either start cross country skiing or maybe try to do some artwork out in the woods and or just to go for a hike and show them some different plants or trees or some unique historical places in Allegheny, and then that'll spark their interest to do it more, and hopefully they'll take care of areas in their own hometowns. And so yeah, that's my main job, is to connect people with the outdoors because it's just the best place to be.
It is. And you are the premier role model for that from all the posts that I see on your Facebook page.
Oh,
Adele,
thanks.
yeah. And you know what? Like, you're cycling 925 days?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's today. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. I did my homework. I saw the 924 yesterday.
Yeah, thanks.
So, how did you get into riding and getting into riding every single day since 925 days ago?
So I think for a few years back, I'd say I was trying to ride, like, let's see how many days I can ride this month, kind of going from like September, October, especially these months kind of leading up to ski season. And, you know, sometimes I would only get like 25 days in, and I was like, well, that was pretty good. And so one year, May came around and it was mental health month. And some of my friends were going to try to run, you know, like for 24 hours, 1 hour every 24 hours in a day. And it's like, well, let's see what I can do. And it's like, you know, maybe I can ride my bike every day for the month of May and just go from there. And I want to say that first week it was so cold. I pulled mittens out. It was awful. And you know, you just like, oh my gosh, here I go. But one of my other friends was kind of doing it with me. And so I'd see that she'd posted something. I was like, well, if she did it, well, I got to get out and do it too. And so then a friend of mine asked me, he's like, so what are you going to do on June 1st? I'm like, well, I guess I'm just going to keep riding. And so I just kind of took it really one day at a time, kind of 1 month at a time.
Right.
And and what I noticed is like mid-month, about the 13th or 14th, or you know, anywhere from the 13th to the 17th, like ugh, ugh. It was so hard. And once I got over that hump, I was good. So now it doesn't even seem to phase me. I just kind of go.
Right.
And it's just kind of part of my day, and you just work it in. So
Yep.
yeah, so that's how I kind of got it started and then I just kept going. And sometime in the summer, one of my friends like, so when's day 1000? And it's like, I have no idea. And I think it's mid January. It's like on a weekend. So my friend's like, well, I'm going to come and ride with you.
Oh,
Like,
right
okay.
on. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's you know what? I had motivation when I commuted every day by bike to my job. I paid myself $4 a day. And then so every Friday I had a payday of $20, and I took that $20 and I put it in a Ziploc envelope. I buried it in the bottom of my freezer. It's amazing how much money you can in 20s you can put in a Ziploc snack bag.
That's funny.
It's like $3,000. It's
Oh,
pretty
geez.
tight. Yeah.
What'd you end up doing with it?
Well, what I did was every year I used the money that I saved by cycling instead of driving, paid for our lift tickets as a family when we went skiing on March break.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
Yeah.
that was my motivation. But yeah,
Yeah, I think I think that's an awesome thing. So yeah, so it's just a matter of like, I guess the big thing was, you know, now it's and people are like, you do it in the winter, like, yeah. And it's like it's not hard to ride in the wintertime,
no,
and I
no.
have all the clothes for it,
It's like
you
cross
know.
country
So
skiing. You just dress like that, sort of.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just, you know, it's more of a matter of like you're sitting on a nice comfy couch and all toasty and like, oh, I didn't ride today.
Yeah.
Like you gotta go. And so, you know, just getting ready and strapping on your helmet, like, okay, let's go. And once you're out, it's all fine.
That's right.
Um, so, but yeah, it's just a matter of kind of trying to do some hard things or things like, all right, it's not pleasant. Like, where am I going to go?
Yep.
And I'm always happy that I'm out. There's only been a few times. My minimum is like 15 minutes is the shortest time you can ride. And
Right.
there's been a few times like I set my timer going, okay, 8 minutes, turn around and come back, take a photo and come back.
When I was at Teachers College in Kingston, I lived maybe 15 to 20 kilometers away from the college, west of the university, in a place called Collins Bay. I lived with Sean's uncle, and I commuted by bike all the time. And one morning, I got up and I said to Sean's uncle Frank, I was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling 100%. It'd be nice to have a tailwind this morning." I got up and I went out and I had to go down Collins Bay Road. Then I hit Highway 33 going east, and I had a headwind and I was feeling crappy. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I tell you, on the north shore of Lake Ontario in Kingston, where it starts to narrow down into the river there, there are some wicked winds. There was one day I would have a little bit of a circle and I would leave the university, go down to Portsmouth, and then come out that way before I hooked up with 33 again. And I don't know how I stayed upright. I got hit with such a gust of wind. I thought I was going ass over tea kettle. But somehow I stayed upright. But yeah, that was probably about the coldest winter I spent cycling.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to wear like big -50 Sorels and big like I have mountaineering gloves and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, it was awesome though. I enjoyed it. It's a great way to decompress after work or after school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was like in my work. I live 5 kilometers from the school I taught at, and I
Mm-hmm.
told people that my commute was 5 kilometers, but the ride home was 35 at least. They're like, how does that work? I said, well, I went out in the country and I rode because I live in the country.
Yeah.
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 So that's awesome. Hats off to you for being committed to cycling every day.
No, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, I know what that's like. So let's move on to skiing.
Okay.
So how did you? So before we go there, if you could tell the listeners what you're qualified as an instructor as.
Okay. I'm a level 3 alpine instructor, level 2 snowboard instructor, level 1 cross country skier, Nordic, and I'm a Nordic examiner. I think that's it. And sledding, 100% sledder, whatever that would be.
Right. So when you say Nordic, you mean like telemark, right?
Telemark. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Telemark. Yep.
Cool.
Telemark examiner.
Okay, so how did you get it? Did you ski when you were a child?
No,
No.
nope. No, we did not. My parents weren't skiers, but they did push us outside, I guess, and we played a lot around outside. So
Well,
like
you
when my dad
you
would shovel the walkway, we were
yeah,
outside playing in the snow, building forts. And then we had a throughway, I want to say Route 90 or,
yep,
Interstate 90 was real close to our house. And so we would walk, maybe half a mile, and then we go sledding on the hills to the overpass. And that was kind of a pretty normal thing
right,
growing up. So, that's why I'd say I'm a professional sledder. We would sled in the summertime too. And so I guess if anything, we had a love for being outside. We did like the winter. So I'd say that was one of the biggest things my parents did. And then when I was in high school, our chemistry teacher said he had cross country skis. My older brother skied, and I didn't, he was like in ski club, and I didn't have money to do that. And so for like $5, we could borrow skis for an evening. And on like a Friday night, we went out. He gave us a real simple cross country lesson. Like I remember herringbone, how to herringbone, and then we just would go down a hill, and we didn't know how to stop.
right.
We'd fall over. And I just remember it's like, this is the most fun ever. So I kind of fell in love in cross country skiing. And then my parents moved to Tennessee the next year near Knoxville. And I was kind of heartbroken that I wasn't getting to ski anymore. But there's a little ski area called Obergatlinburg in the Smoky Mountains. And the elevation is, I think it's like over 3,000, maybe 3,500 feet.
Right.
So it was high enough in the mountains to get some fresh snow, and they had a little ski area there. And so I worked there in the summertime, and I learned how to ski when I was, I think, 21,
Oh, okay.
and picked it up and loved it, and said I learned to ski in August on AstroTurf and in shorts. And then the next year I learned how to real ski on real snow.
Right.
And and so that was super fun. And then the next year I tried out for their ski school, and I think I got it in like 85. And so uh, and then I started teaching, and I convinced my parents that I took the winter off, and I told my parents I would go to college in the summer if I could take the winter off, and that would help pay for school. I don't know if it really did or not, but I did. So like my first few years of skiing were, like 3 months in a row, 6 days a week, I was
Right.
on snow and teaching people. And I just wanted everyone to learn how to do something that I just absolutely loved and was something I was good at. And I think by being such a new skier, I was able to tell people how to, like maybe feel this or try this with your foot or feel this with your leg or do this with your body or something. And because it was so new to me
Right.
that I remembered what it was like to be a nervous or a scared beginner.
Right.
Most of these people were all from the South and not even been on snow before. So so it was pretty fun. So yeah, so I taught at Gatlinburg for 4 years, and I got my level 2 for skiing there. And then I moved up to Snowshoe in West Virginia
Right.
and taught there for I think 4 years. And then I moved to Holiday Valley, up in Ellicottville, New York, and
Yep.
was there for 9. And now I think I've been at Hollymont for since 2000. So this is 25 years I've been at Hollymont.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm close to 40. I think I'm real close to about 40 years of being teaching skiing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Like, how did that
incredible.
happen?
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane. That's awesome. So so that's kind of good that you said, because I like how you connected to what is it in West Virginia, what is it called?
Oh, Snowshoe?
Yeah, Snowshoe. Yeah, I was gonna
Hmm.
say horseshoe, but yeah, because I often you go back there, and I was like, well, I wonder if you grew up there, because for me you have a real southern twang in your voice coming from a Canadian. So I always thought that that's where you were born, was kind of on the edge of the South and the North.
No, I was probably I think I was in the South for 10 years.
Okay.
And then there is a really fun event that one of my friends and I kind of came up with, and it's a 3-day, we call it the Southern Hoedown.
Right.
It's a tele hoedown. Basically, it's a day on piste and you're tele skiing at one ski area in Canaan Valley in West Virginia. And then the second day you go to Whitegrass, which is a ski touring area. And then
Right.
the third day, with all your new skills of being on cross country, and then you get back on skis and you feel like a superstar
Right.
because you got you got something that holds you up again.
Yes.
And we ski that day at we go at Timberline, Canaan Valley, and Whitegrass.
Okay.
So yeah, I go down there every year, and it's one of my favorite events. I think we've maybe 5 or 6 years that we've been doing that. Um,
And
so yeah,
when
but I was in the South for 10 years.
Okay, so while we're talking about that event, so when is it generally?
It's always right around Groundhog's Day. You guys
Okay.
celebrate Groundhog's Day, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Just
Yeah.
checking.
Yeah.
And he's got a big old
Pretty
Canadian flag.
pretty
Yeah,
pretty
whee!
pretty much the same holidays, except Thanksgiving is different.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought so. But
Yeah.
anyway, so it's always right around Groundhog's Day. So this year I think it's like the first, second, and third. It's
Okay.
3 days, and people can do one day or they can do all 3 days of February.
Okay. And where can they go to get information about that?
That would be the PSIA website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Professional Ski Instructors
Professional
of
Ski
America.
Instructors of America. And then if you would do the Nordic Hoedown, I think
Okay.
is what it's called.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So yeah, so there's the connection. I often wondered what the connection to West Virginia was. And you've been at Hollymont for 25 years. That's where we first met, at the Telemark
Yep.
Festival there. Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you go from alpine skiing into telemark? Or was it playing with cross country and trying to figure out how to turn?
No, no. I tried to do that a couple times on cross country skis and was failure. No, I did not do well with that. I was dating a guy who was a tele skier.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, well, and then the other thing that happened is Hollymont, one of our ski school supervisors, his name is Todd Fetzer, and he was getting into telemark skiing. And so a lot of our whole ski school was getting on to telemark equipment. And I think at one time we had 12 certified instructors that were on staff. And so there was always somebody to go ski with,
Right.
which was awesome. So anyway, that's why I started tele skiing. And as you know, I'd alpine for such a long time, and it's like, all right, let's give this is a new challenge. And it was super fun to have all of the different, it's a lot of equipment to carry with all 4 disciplines, but what I found is there were so many different really cool crossovers from each each discipline,
Right.
and you melded it all kind of together, and you could teach people from all different disciplines on how to tele ski with examples from snowboarding to, cross country skiing and alpine. So that was kind of fun. And it was like every turn is a challenge. I remember that as a beginner. And, someone's like, it's like there's a lot of loose parts from tele skiing, like your heels aren't down. And, so,
I like that
so
loose parts.
yeah, a lot of loose parts. But anyway, I just found it was a challenge, and it was like the cool kids were doing it. So it seemed like a fun thing to get into.
That's awesome. So about when did you start that? Like how
I
long?
think probably about 20 years ago.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
say about 2000,
Right.
maybe
Okay.
2005.
Okay. So we've been telling about the same amount of time. Yeah, that's awesome. So, being an examiner now, because I know that a lot of time that you've been in and around Hollymont, so you get to travel a little more to take part in some of the academies that they put on, I guess.
Yeah, I can. We're trying to keep things. So we've got people in Vermont and Maine, and then we have another group of people that are down in Pennsylvania, um, West Virginia, and so kind of New England, and I'm considered part of the Southern group.
Okay.
In New York State, I'm the Southern group.
Yep.
So anyhow, but there is different academies that I can go to. So we do training every year up in Vermont. That's going to happen in about 3 weeks. And then there's clinics all over the East Coast.
Right.
So that'll be fun. And then there's a really fun one down in Seven Springs called Tullypalooza.
Right.
That is, I want to say it's the first weekend in, maybe it's the second weekend in January.
Right.
That's a really fun one down at Seven Springs in Pennsylvania. So I get to go down to that one, and either I can coach or I can take a clinic with some of my coworkers, some of the other tele staff. And then I've got a level 1 exam like what you did
Yep.
at Holiday Valley, and it's an evening exam. So that's kind of a fun one. So people don't have to lose a couple days work. We've got some 1-day events at Holiday Valley and Hollymont. And then some exams down in Timberline, which is a level 1 and a level 2 down in Timberline, which is a great event. So that should be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping to get to that one too. So basically, there's a women's clinic too up in Pico, up in Killington. That one's usually like I want to say there's probably like 30 events that we're doing this year.
Wow.
And each examiner has their circle of an area that they do, and they try to do it about 3, maybe, like for me, I'm about a half a day away from West Virginia. Is only 6 hours really.
Right.
So it's about the same amount for me to go up to like Gore up
Right.
in New York.
Right. I had a question, and I was just listening to. Yeah. What I thought was really cool, and this is not just for instructors. Like the course that I took, there was a mixture of me wanting to get my instructors and just the general public. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting format. And then I think that one they call it like a video feedback workshop.
Yeah, we did a
something
video
like
analysis,
Right.
and a lot of that was really what that one was for. A lot of some of the other ones we would still take video just to have, look at them, but that one was what the focus was on that clinic.
Okay.
And it is nice that there are, and I don't know if there's a lot of people that know that the general public can take a clinic too. And we've had a couple guys at Hollymont that were members, and they said, we just want to do 2 days of, hardcore tele skiing with, a couple examiners or clinicians. And they paid, they found it was cheaper than taking a private lesson to just be with us for 2 days. And then the lift ticket was included. So they felt like it was definitely worth their time. And now now they can actually teach because they went through what they needed to do to be instructors.
Right. Yeah, no, I really I thought that was a great selling point for getting classes, getting full classes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So some of the things that I ask people is like, you've told us about where you travel and stuff. Has there been other opportunities to go further afield?
So last spring I had a chance to go ski at Big Sky, Montana with the no with the Telmark, all the Telmark examiners. Anyone who wanted to, and it was called Telmark College. And so that was the first time I tele skied at a big mountain. And I was like, oh my gosh, my legs were like toast by the third, fourth day. But it was amazing. It was so beautiful. It was such a neat thing to do. And we got to meet all these other examiners from all over the country, which was, the East Coast. I think I don't know if there was 9 or 10 of us there. And then we got to meet the national guys too, which was one guy, Keith Rodney,
Yeah.
Keith, I
Yeah.
think from Mount Snow. He was out there, and we met a couple of the other guys, Greg Dixon, who's from Oregon, I think, who's the PSA Nordic coach. And Mike Stanley is the new Telmark, um, what do I say, national team member.
Okay.
So we got to ski with them. And like,
Yeah,
okay.
I was wondering who the new guy was in the photo that I saw that Greg Dixon and Keith Rodney put up, and I was like, there's a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
guy in
yeah.
there.
He's tall. He's like he's a tall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just like, I think it's Brian Shaw who was on the team previously. I think. Anyways,
Brian.
I can't remember. Keith Rodney, if he's listening to this, he'll
Oh,
let me know.
Jim Shaw.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jim
Jim
Shaw.
is
That's it.
tall.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, Jim Shaw.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, he's out of Colorado. So yeah,
Okay.
so we got to be with, and I got to meet a couple other women from different places, from Utah and Colorado. So that was just a treat to meet all these other, examiners from all these other areas that we just don't get to ski with very much.
Right. Very cool. Now, the other thing that I was talking about, because we're talking about travel and that sort of stuff, is your travel this year. 5 Great Lakes and the ocean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's a good check mark on the calendar where you've been and what you've done. So
Yeah, that was
tell the listeners what you've been up
Oh,
to.
so one of the girls that works for me is from Michigan, and I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go this year after our real busy camping season. So usually I feel like I've given memories to all these campers, thousands of people that come and do our programs throughout the summer. It's like, okay, it's time for me to go. So usually in September I go someplace. So I was trying to get into Assateague and Chickateague over in Virginia near the Chesapeake Bay. Everything was full. So my friend goes, well, why don't you go to Michigan? It's beautiful. I'm like, all right. So I started looking at places, and northern Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, there's a place called Copper Harbor, which is an amazing mountain bike area. And it's like I'm trying to ride my bike in different states and then hit these really nice mountain bike areas. So I'm like, all right, I think I'll go there. And so I got campsites, no problem. I'm like, okay, well, that's where I'm going. And then I started looking at other places and like, oh, there's a national seashore, and
Yes.
oh, there's Mackinac Island, and oh, there's Pictured Rocks, and like, okay. So I started making this tour, and I asked my daughter if she wanted to go. And so then she's like, yep. And so we started this 10-day journey, and we went to Sleeping Bear Dunes first, and I had no idea how big Lake Michigan was.
Yes.
And so clear and so beautiful. And the beaches, I just didn't realize how many beaches were in Michigan. Had no idea.
Right.
So that was super cool. So we went all the way up into Copper Harbor, and I think we were there for days. And I rode the trail up there and went to the Lake Superior, and we were there for probably the nicest weather. It was sunny every day, and we really didn't see the big waves. And they talk about, how the lakes can be uh, angry, and
Yes.
we didn't see any of that, which was
Oh,
super. I mean,
wow.
I know they can because Lake Erie's not far. And so that was really fun. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. We got to see the Northern Lights. My daughter had never seen those before.
Oh, wow.
And so we just were laying in a parking lot, with these other two random people, and this woman's like, Alan, do you see this? So so it was just really funny. And they were from Michigan, lower,
Right.
farther south. So anyhow, we just had a really wonderful time, and I was so glad. And my daughter mountain biked with me, so that was fun. And then I realized how fortunate I am that I live in this area where I've got amazing mountain biking. I've got two ski areas right, 15 minutes away from me. I've got state parks, huge state parks around, and so, and the Great Lakes are only really Erie's an hour from me. So how fortunate I am, because when I was in Michigan and you ride the shuttle and you talk to all these people, and I was like, yeah, we just have this new downhill access at Hollymont. And I said, yeah, it's like 15 minutes from my house. And they're like, oh, you're so lucky. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. So yeah, so Michigan was great. And then I decided that for on my 900th day of bike riding, I wanted to go someplace. So I checked in to see if Assateague had any openings, and they did. So I went in and I got there right as a northeaster was leaving. So I got to see an angry ocean. Didn't go swimming, got in, knee deep and stuff, but that was beautiful. And there's all the little ponies. And so
So
when
is
I
that
read
on
the
Lake
story
Michigan
about,
or on Lake Superior?
no, 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 I ended up all of Lake Erie,
Oh, okay.
and Lake Erie was fine. So I just did that this weekend, and it was a little. Erie was storm clouds when I saw it, but the ocean but I went to Assateague about a month ago,
Okay.
I guess.
So that's on the
Another
East
trip.
Coast, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the ocean trip. So I
Okay.
got
Yeah.
all the lakes in. I just went and put my feet in Lake Erie. I did Ontario and Lake Erie the same week.
Right.
And then I went in between all the lakes, I went to the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? If you ever want a gorgeous trip, you have to do the circle tour of Lake Superior.
Yeah, I've seen people that have done that, and I think that's on my list of things I stuffed. And I have my enhanced license now, so I could do that.
Right.
So I just need to have a little bit more time than 10 days, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Because for everything around Lake Superior, it's like you went to Copper Harbor in the wrong season.
Oh,
Because the skiing is like off the chart up there. Like
yeah.
Mount Bohemia is, it's kind of like Mad River. Ski it if you can because they don't groom, that sort of stuff. And then there's Porcupine Mountain State Park.
Yeah, that's one of them. That's on my list of things I want to do. But yeah, the mountain biking was what I was planning on
Yeah,
doing. So I wanted to get up there for that.
yeah.
And then, yeah, I can't imagine what it would be like up there. I guess they've just got like 12 inches of snow or something
Oh
ridiculous.
wow, that's nuts.
It
The
sounds like it.
the
So,
north shore of Lake Superior is to die for. The vistas, the cliffs, like
hmm
you're coming south from Wawa. It's about 230 kilometers, so that's what 150 miles, and you're going mostly through a provincial park. And one of the vistas that I always see is you're coming down a hill and you're looking out over Lake Superior, and there's I don't know how tall this rock face is.
hmm.
It's got to be over 1,000 feet tall, and it's Old Woman Bay. And if you look in a certain way, and I haven't seen her all the time, there is a face of the old woman there,
Oh,
kind
cool.
of like the old man in the mountain in New Hampshire that was
Yeah.
there.
Well, I remember him. He fell off, but yeah, I
Yeah,
do remember.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, that would be another trip that I'd have to, take a little bit more time off than, like I said, 10
and
days.
and it's the best time to go if you want to get in the water is your prime time when you're working and educating all those campers that are visiting your state park.
Yeah, that would be retirement trip.
Oh yeah,
So
there you go.
there's plenty on the retirement trip list for sure.
And is
But
retirement soon?
I got about like 5 years, maybe six
Okay.
years, something like that. Not too long,
Oh, that's
really.
good. That's good. All right.
Yeah.
So the trip to the East Coast and the ponies
hmm
that you saw. I remember seeing a video of somebody somewhere. These ponies are wild, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, the ponies are there was a couple different things that one have said that the first settlers there put the ponies out on the island so they'd eat. And then another story said that the ponies came from a Spanish ship and
Okay.
that so there's a couple different stories. I'm not sure which one's which, but yeah, they're just fat little ponies and they eat salt grass and that makes them kind of fatter.
Okay.
And as a kid, I loved horses, and I read this story by Margaret Henry called Misty of Chickateague, and so it's always been kind of on the list to go out to Assateague and Chickateague to see the ponies, and just to go to the ocean too, and just to get some time out there. And also, so one of the other goals is to ride every state, and so Delaware and Maryland were two on my list. So I checked those off my list for this year. And so that was fun. So yeah, so I was camping, I was sleeping in my van
Yep.
and I stayed at a state park and there was not many other people there because of this northeaster. And then the national parks were closed, which there's a national seashore just south of this state park on Assateague Island. And so basically you could just ride around and the ponies are right, you could go up to them as you're not supposed to, which I didn't, like they can kick and bite. Like I'm not
Right.
going to do
Yeah,
that. So
exactly.
anyway, but I mean, they were just, you could get as close as you probably wanted to with them. And they were fun to see. There's, really pretty little ponies and there was a lot of other wildlife there too, just a lot of different kinds of wonderful birds, egrets and ibis and just it was a fun place to go in the fall and the colors were pretty neat because there's also a swampy area and I don't know what this red plant was, but I forgot to look that one up. And then I went up to Delaware and I went to this place called Lewis, which is the oldest town in the oldest state, which is in Delaware,
Oh,
which
cool.
I didn't know. So that was kind of a neat place. And there is a called Cape Henlopen. It's right across from Cape May in New Jersey. So that was a really fun park, and they had a great bike path, and then they had a few little mountain bike trails and things. So that was a lot of fun too. Just really, it was a 4 days packed, a day down,
Oh,
one day in
wow.
Maryland, one day in Delaware, and drive home. So yeah,
Action,
just a
action
quick
packed.
trip. What's that?
Action packed.
Yeah, that's pretty much any trip I take is action packed. Yeah,
Right. Very cool.
yeah, yeah.
Very cool. All right. So, for the upcoming season, where can people find you? What's on the docket for your travels and skiing? You've already said a couple of things. So you're going to
Um,
Tellapalooza,
Yeah, Tellapalooza. So that's the first one I will be at is Tellapalooza down in Pennsylvania.
Seven
And
Springs.
then yep, at Seven Springs. Then the next one is at Holiday Valley. I'm doing a level one exam,
Right.
or an assessment, which is a great, and this is our last year that we get to do like what you did, where we get to coach during a clinic,
Right.
and then next year it's all going to be that you actually are going to go to an assessment and that's what you're doing as opposed to getting some coaching in because a lot of times we don't have a chance. I find that people don't have a chance to teach telemark,
Right.
so during the clinics is when you would learn how to do that. Next year, like I said, it's going to be an assessment and that's what you're going for. So this year, that's what I'm doing. I don't have the dates with me. I think it's the 13th and 14th of January. There's a Freddie Friday on January 9th, which is at Hollymont, and it says for telemark, but honestly, I'm going to advertise it as that anyone, Alpine or telemark can join. And what I'd like to do is just show everybody just work on like, hey, try this and you try this and, show them the things that are the same and
Right.
things that are different and just kind of play around with, have a good time on the snow, kind of intermingle, that
Right.
type of thing. So
Yeah.
some of the things that maybe Alpine people don't understand about telemark, we can discuss it and see where we have things in common. I
Yep.
think it would be great. that's, like I said, January 9th. And what's next? The end of, so first week in February is the Hoedown in West Virginia, down in Canadian Valley. And what's after that? Then there's a one-day event at Hollymont, just a telemark update on, I think it's the 26th, and then the next day is the Friday that we're doing telestock at Holiday Valley.
Right.
And I'm coaching there. And then the following week we have our Free Heel Fling or our Telefest at Hollymont. And I think that's most of my season.
That's a busy
Pretty sure.
season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then between work at Alleghany State Park and just instructing at Hollymont, that's how you spend your
Yep.
winter.
Yeah, yeah. And then I've got fat bike rides. I think we've got 6 for the winter.
Okay. And that's with the
Starting-
Western New York crew?
Yeah, yep, yeah, the Western New York mountain bike. And they should be putting stuff up, but if not, our Allegheny State Park has a Facebook page.
Okay.
And we've got rides on one for prior Thanksgiving, the 21st. Then we have a New Year's Eve ride, which is obviously New Year's Eve.
Yep.
And that's kind of a fun one. We have a dorm and some people stay overnight, which is a lot of fun. And then they stay overnight so they can do the first day ride.
Mm-hmm.
We have a first day hike at Allegheny. And then the next ride, we call it just soup. And everyone brings their favorite soup. And I think last time we had like 14 people and 7 different kinds of soups. And
Oh, wow.
we were so excited. We were so well fed. And that was a lot of fun. And we let people borrow bikes too, as long as we have availability. They can borrow a fat bike and see what it's like.
Right.
So we get a lot of people who are, not really been on a bike before in the wintertime, and it's just super fun. We usually go like 5 to 7 miles, and it's very low key. It's just kind of getting people introduced to fat bikes and the winter, and they get to meet some other people. And so we have a great time doing that one. And then there's one in February that's fat bikes and flannel. And then March 20th this year, it is wearing of the green, because it's St. Patrick's Day, but it's also first day of spring.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that would all be on like Facebook page for Allegheny State Park. And then if anybody's looking for what I'm doing, it's Adele L. Wellman at Facebook. I don't have any. My children said I can't be on Instagram, so I said okay. Like, what are you trying to hide? So
yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Very busy winter coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very good.
Yeah. So you don't get, yeah, it's a lot, but it's like I enjoy it. I love being outside. We'll throw some cross-country programs in there too when we get the snow. Allegheny's got a great cross-country track area too. So that's, there's too many. I feel like there's not enough days to do all the things that and then
Right.
we have some snowshoe hikes too every week. Yeah.
Right.
So
Very
there should be no reason why I'm not in shape.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with me and share your stories. Oh, most of the stuff that you talked about, people can find on the PSIA website, correct?
Mhm.
Which is
Right.
snowpros.com, I think. I remember when I would
Mm.
search it, I would have to put in like
I think it'd be PSA East,
Oh, okay.
and then they would go to, and then I think they would go to like events.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
That's the easiest way.
Mm-hmm.
Or hit Adele up on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. They can message me too, and
Well-
like, hey, when are you doing clinics?
One of the things I was going to ask is, do schools come through your state park also? Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
Usually the schools will start most of the time in like the springtime is the busiest time.
Okay.
So they'll start in April and they'll go till like that. Like the kids here will be almost the last week in June before
Right.
they're out. So we'll do multiple programs, and they have I think about a choice of 30 different programs that they can do for the education programs throughout the summer. Um, and then we've had some this month, and then there's a few folks that'll come in and we have snowshoes that kids can borrow too. I think we have about 30 pairs. So
Oh,
some
wow.
schools will come in and we rotate the kids out with a snowshoe hike and then take them out in the woods and just strap these things on and let them just go in a field and run and just blow up.
Yeah, I know. We
Funny.
were when we were in Thunder Bay in September, one of the outdoor stores. The guy's tired of running it, so he's retiring. And his kids once said they would take it over, but they chose not to. So he's closing
Hmm.
down. So we bought some little snowshoes for Avery and Lola. And my one
Oh,
daughter,
good.
her Lola and Avery's mom, they're like, "We don't get much snow down here." I said, "Don't tell the kids that," because they live in Windsor, right, south of Detroit,
Yeah.
and it's like there can be 1 inch of snow. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter. You strap the snowshoes on. So when we got our snow the other day, I think it was Saturday morning, maybe Sunday morning, Bronwyn sent a picture of Lola standing there with her winter coat on and her stormy chromer. And then the next photo is it's mostly green with a little bit of white,
Right.
and they're doing snow angels.
Oh,
They're like
funny.
so
Good.
stoked. And then this morning, Sean came downstairs and I could hear all this funky music. And there's the kids. My dad last year for Christmas got them these big snow globes. So they
Hmm.
both have the music going and they're shaking their snow
Oh,
globes. Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. They can't
Yeah, I'd
wait.
say that that's, like I think that's one of the biggest things that parents can do for their kids when they talk about, oh, when how do we, we want to teach them how to ski and it's like, okay, they're three, fine. Um, I would say the biggest thing is, get them outside and let them enjoy being outdoors and
Yeah.
playing in the snow,
Yeah.
because then it's fine. If you just take a child who's used to being indoors and you put them outside and put some heavy thing on their feet,
Yeah.
they might not like it all that
Yeah.
much. So teaching them to play first and
Yeah.
enjoy it, and then put some stuff on their feet, and they'll do okay. So
The
yeah,
kids,
you got to be patient
the
with them.
grandkids started, I think they started skating last year a little bit, just a couple of
Oh
times.
yeah.
But it's funny. Avery just turned 3 in October. And I don't know, nobody showed him, but he gravitated to their little hockey sticks they have. And they have this air hockey puck that might be 6 or 8 inches in diameter. So you turn it on and it comes up off the ground. So it glides across the floor. And that guy, he's got hockey on the brains. He has to have his socks on so he can skate on the tile floor, he says. And he's
Yeah.
fallen a few times and hurt his face. So they put a hockey helmet on. So when they took him out to the arena the first time, they have these two different types of devices that the kids can lean on for their balance and stuff.
Hmm.
And he was so upset. He wanted to play hockey. He couldn't understand that he had to learn to skate first. But we didn't have these devices, and I was like, I'm gonna have to tell my daughter, give him a hockey stick and let him use that as
That's his
his.
right. That's his third point of contact.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to tell them that. And he doesn't care whether he's gonna hit the puck or not. He's playing hockey. But it's
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
funny to watch him in the basement. He's like just totally focused. He's gonna be like the Hanson brothers from Slapshot.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, good. Good. Well,
But
that's cool.
I like that advice that you give to parents. Just get them outside, let them play. That's what we do with Avery and Lola.
Hmm.
When we're there, we spend all the time going from park to park to park, and we go by bicycle.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they're either riding or they're in a trailer if we have to go a little further.
Yeah,
So
just getting them outside to enjoy, doing that. And then I think that's and yeah, so they fall and so they hurt themselves a little bit, but or they get their hands cold or a
yeah,
boot comes off. I mean, it's just like, okay.
yeah,
So you
that's
don't
what
take your boots
happens.
off when
That's
the
right.
snow is out here.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, thanks again for taking the time and sharing your
Oh, well,
stories
thank
with.
you.
And you see, it's almost been an hour.
Woohoo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody's got stories.
Well, I hope I get to see you again this year
I hope
at
so.
some point.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. I hope so. I know we're going to be busy skiing in the east in Canada because our Indy Pass, there's many more mountains that have appeared in Quebec because there was only a few. And so there's a couple of big telemark centers that have come up on our Indy Pass.
Oh,
And
nice.
and I'm trying to convince Sean maybe we have this mountain called Cape Smoky, which is in Cape Breton, upper part of Nova Scotia, and you ski down to the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds just the view. I
Yes.
think that's
Yeah.
just worth it
So
for like, oh yeah, I skied down to the ocean. I mean, you see like what is that, Norway that you see there's stuff like
yes.
that, or
Yeah.
even up in like Lake Superior. Isn't there one of the mountains up there that does that?
Well, you know
Isn't it
what?
the
When we did our
Porcupines?
tour last year, yeah, like
Yeah.
Porcupine Mountain State Park, like every place we skied, we could except for oh, I forget the name of it. It's not Big Powderhorn, it's the one next to it. Anyways, we couldn't really see Lake Superior because it's a little more inland. But yeah, we could see Lake Superior at every mountain that we skied.
Hmm.
It was very cool. But like, some of the coolest, Le Massif in Quebec, in Charlevoix, which is about an hour east of Quebec City. I remember skiing there, and there's an ocean going ship right at the bottom of the hill because that's the deepest part of the river there. And it's like, yeah, I think the mountain probably ends less than a half a mile from the shore
Jeez.
of the river. And there's this ship going right across the bottom of the mountain.
That's so odd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah,
Huh.
I'm looking forward to all those new places because some of them are pretty remote.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks again
Oh, you're
for
welcome. Thank you.
doing
Thanks for
this.
inviting me.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks again.
All right. Bye, Keith.
See you, Adele. Well, there you have it, crew. Another episode of the Women in Telemark Skiing here on the Skipper Report. A gigantic thank you to Adele Wellman for sitting down with me and sharing all of her stories of skiing, cycling, just being in the great outdoors, sledding down the interstate en route ramps as a kid growing up in Batavia, New York. Anyways, thanks, Adele. And if you're interested in any of the events that Adele was listing, check her out on Facebook. Just look up at Adele Wellman. And also check out the Professional Ski Instructors of America website for any of the events that they're hosting there. Anyways, thanks again for choosing to sit down and listen to good old Skippy talk to somebody. And check back in a few weeks for another episode. Peace out.